This is breaking news from Salt Lake City with Governor Herbert, Utah governor.
Climate change is a reality. Scientists.
Folks, that was Governor Gary Herbert coming to you live from Utah. We wanted to get this on the air before now, but we might as well tell you what is going on here in Utah. This is breaking news. The governor has now deferred, the governor and the legislature through attorneys and also through the courts, the state courts. Tenants are now deferred from paying rent here in the state of Utah until May 15th. Again, tenants are deferred from paying rent until May 15th. Landlords are not allowed to assess late fees or evictions until after May 15th. Now, these are only rent deferrals. Renters are expected to somehow catch up with your rent through terms negotiated between you and your landlord. Nothing was said yet about a state shutdown. That is on hold. It is still being considered. They also said that all state parks are closed to anyone but those that live within the county where the state park is located. If you are going to travel to a state park, it must be within your own county or you will be turned away. Governor Herbert also reiterated the slogan, "Be safe and stay home." Stay home and be safe. Now, we are going to come back to you in just a minute with information about other breaking news in the network. If you'll just stand by with us for just about another minute or so, we will be back to you as soon as that information is available. Hold the phone, stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you for joining us on the Emergency Management Associates channel. My name is Ron Tyler with the Emergency Management Associates. We came to you live with breaking news from the state of Utah. Again, they have now quarantined everybody except the state. The state has not quarantined anybody as of yet. The state of Utah has come down and deferred rent payments from tenants, and they don't have to pay their rent until May 15th. At such point, they have to make negotiations with the landlords, and landlords are not allowed to pursue eviction proceedings against any tenants until May 15th. This was worked out with the attorneys and the state courts of the state of Utah. We got that breaking news. Governor Herbert has closed down travel except within your own county. You can utilize the Utah state parks only if you live in the specific county where the state park is located. Otherwise, you'll be turned away. Again, the governor has said, be safe and stay home. The mayor of the county of Salt Lake has issued a stay-at-home notice. No one is supposed to be leaving their homes unless they have business outside the home with doctors, grocery facilities, the post office, and if they are emergency service personnel, firefighters, medical people, and law enforcement, and grocery stores, and people and pharmacies, and people that will be servicing the public. If you have business, you cannot work from home. You're allowed to travel to that business, but that is the only place you're allowed to go within the county of Salt Lake County, Utah. That's what's going on. We wanted, since we were broken up last night, both on YouTube and here on the Emergency Management Associates program on the Freedom Revolution Network, we had a 6.5 magnitude earthquake in central North Idaho, actually north central Idaho. The earthquake was 44 miles west of Challis, Idaho. The earthquake has now been responsible for around 50 aftershocks. 20 of those aftershocks were almost within the matter of like 2 hours time period after the 6.5 earthquake happened. We believe that this earthquake was probably closer to a 7.0. This earthquake was felt as far west as Spokane, Washington, and over into Oregon, Utah, Salt Lake City area, and parts north up into Montana and Wyoming. That's how far this earthquake reached. At first, we were told last night that it reached all the way to North Dakota and South Dakota. I don't believe that is accurate. Montana, Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, Idaho, of course, and Washington, Spokane, all the way over to Spokane and over into Oregon was the extent of the shaking with this earthquake. Now, they are still saying that there have been other things that have happened, including the damage that resulted from this earthquake. There was some damage. There was some damage in Idaho with that 6.5 magnitude earthquake last night. I'm going to show you pictures of that damage right now.
Welcome back as we return to our breaking news story of the earthquake that just hit about a half an hour ago. USGS does confirm there was a 6.5 magnitude quake. As you can see, well, I'm not sure exactly what we're looking at in that map right there, but people all the way in Boise and Meridian and Eagle felt it as well. It was about 350 to 400 miles away from Spokane. If we can go back out on that map, that's really impossible to see, but we know it was in the middle of the Chalice National Forest, north of Boise. We're getting a ton of text right now from people who did feel it all the way in Coeur d'Alene, in Troy, in Spokane, in the Valley. Tons of people talking about how they at least felt some of the shaking. So we'll return to this story here in about a half an hour for KREM 2 News at 6. But a big thank you to everyone who joined us here. Mark Hanrahan at home. We will all be back here for KREM 2 News at.
That was the local news from last night. I thought they had updated it. I'm going to take you now to the other pictures of the damage with this earthquake. Said no major damage was reported, but they've had other damage. What are the pictures that they had here? There was damage from this earthquake here. As you can see in this picture here in the center, the earthquake knocked roads full of boulders. Boulders came crashing down onto roads. There are pictures of more damage. I'm going to try to find the pictures of the damage to show you. Trying to find that damage. There are pictures of the damage anyway. I have pictures on my phone. I thought I could find that here. Let me look under images here. This is one of the pictures of damage from the rocks cascading onto the freeway from other hillsides over there in Idaho. I know there's other pictures here. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. There were a lot of other pictures of the rock slides and such, huge boulders coming down onto the roadways. Spokane shook Tuesday afternoon after 6.5 magnitude earthquake hit southern Idaho, about 80 miles northeast of Boise. More than 2 million people living in the region that could feel the Idaho quake, according to the United States Geological Survey, with reports of shaking coming from as far away as Helena, Salt Lake City, Calgary, Alberta. The USGS measured the earthquake at a depth of 10 miles below the Earth's surface before 5 p.m. That earthquake was actually 6 kilometers, which is 3 miles below the surface. Numerous people in the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene areas went to social media with reports of feeling the quake on Tuesday evening. Others voiced frustration and confusion with somehow missing it. North Spokane resident, Spokane, Washington, Jeff Dubray was sitting on a couch working on his computer when his eye caught the reflection in his TV screen. His couch appeared to be shaking. Then he noticed a light fixture was swinging. Dubray, who is from Montana, had never felt an earthquake and thought he was going crazy as his home shook for a few seconds. But then I was just looking online afterward, Dubray told the Spokesman's Review. He thought, oh my gosh, I'm not the only one. There were no reports of damage in Spokane as of 5:40 p.m. Pacific time, according to a tweet from Spokane Fire Chief Brian Schaefer. He said the people should call 911 with reports of gas and unstable structures. DeBray said friends east of Spokane and in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, reported feeling the earthquake. Ruth Robbins Dolan said she was sitting in her Liberty Lake home when her daughter and husband started to feel the earthquake. They all experienced a 6.8 magnitude earthquake that struck north of Olympia in 2001, causing billions of dollars in damage and injuring hundreds. I thought maybe we were imagining things, Robbins Dolan wrote in a social media message. It was my grandson's first earthquake. Post Falls resident Haley Zwanzig, a graphic designer, was creating an advertisement still while working from home when the earthquake hit. But it took her fiance, Logan Summer, pointing at their swinging light fixtures for her to notice. Then her phone started flooding with messages from coworkers, and about half of them said that they had also missed it. Either I was so sucked into my work that I was dead to the world, or I really am just that unobservant, Swangzig said in a social media message. When I said I didn't feel it, Logan, was shocked. The center of the earthquake was located about 45 miles west of Challis, Idaho, and it wasn't the first time the town had felt one. Okay, that is from the Spokesman's Review newspaper in Spokane, Washington. We have also received word that this earthquake that hit in 44 miles west of Challis, Idaho last night was also had a location, an epicenter, if you will, of right above a caldera. Okay, right above a caldera is a summit of a volcano. Okay, this was a summit of a volcano located in Challis, Idaho. We have previously said that Challis, Idaho was the western end of the Yellowstone magma chamber, and it is. The magma chamber of Yellowstone, I am going to pull up a picture in just a half a shake here. I want to show you a picture of Yellowstone here. Oh, let's see here. Give me a shake here, I'll get it here. It's coming up here. Be just a second. I don't know why it's taking so long, doggone it. Okay, I'm going to show you briefly where we're at here. Okay, this is a possible Yellowstone supervolcano eruption area. The kill zone is right over the Yellowstone area and going into Idaho here. Where you see my cursor on this particular picture, folks, is where Challis, Idaho is. That's where Challis, Idaho is. The felt zone for this earthquake was all the way over here into the Spokane, Washington area, which is just outside this red zone. Spokane, Washington, again, where you see my cursor. This earthquake was felt over here in Oregon. It was felt in some parts of Nevada, over here in Utah and Colorado, Montana, and Wyoming. Okay, but this is what happens with the Yellowstone volcano. Okay, I've also got more pictures here I'm going to show you. Hoping this particular picture comes up faster, and it did. but this isn't the particular one I was looking for. Okay, I'm looking for a particular picture here. I thought I had it right here. This is what happens during live TV episodes. I thought I had a better picture of Yellowstone. Apparently I don't. Okay. I am going to tell you that this area has not experienced such an earthquake since the 80s. I believe it was 1983 when they last felt an earthquake such as this. This earthquake was likened to an earthquake that hit Yellowstone near Hebgen Lake in 1959. August 17th, 1959 at 11:37 p.m. in southwestern Montana, Yellowstone, Montana. The earthquake hit there, and it was like a 7.0 to a 7.2. It caused a huge landslide that caused over 28 fatalities, left $11 million in damage. The slide blocked the flow of the Madison River, resulting in the creation of Quake Lake that's in existence today. Significant effects of that earthquake were also felt in Idaho, Wyoming, and lesser effects, they said, all the way over to Puerto Rico and Hawaii. That's how big that earthquake was. The 1959 quake was the largest and deadliest earthquake to hit Montana. The second being the 1935-1936 Helena earthquakes that left 4 people dead. It also caused the worst landslides in the history of the northwestern United States. Again, that 7.2 occurred at 11:37 p.m. at night, after dark. That quake lasted, they said, between 30 and 40 seconds. During the earthquake, the surrounding landscape dropped as much as 20 feet, 6.1 meters, and shock waves caused numerous seeks to surge across the Hebgen Lake. Seeks are water waves for 12 hours. Water pushed by the seeks poured over the dam, which did not collapse. After several aftershocks ranging from 5.8 to 6.3 were reported after the quake. The earthquake struck in Madison County, Montana, an area to the west of Yellowstone National Park. Several nearby campgrounds were occupied by vacationing campers and tourists at the time. I'm going to bring up this article here that I'm reading from. I want to show you this. Great sections of roadway spilled into this lake. Okay, the roadway just disappeared. Look at this. The fissures opened up and the roadway disappeared. Highway 287 slumped into Hebgen Lake. These are the pictures from 1959. 7.2 earthquake in West Yellowstone at Hebgen Lake. Masonry structures collapsed, schools collapsed, chimneys throughout the region collapsed. The Billings Gazette, Billings, Montana Gazette, quake toll feared near higher than was first believed. Quake kills 2 in Challis, Idaho. Again, the magma chamber for West Yellowstone goes up into the northern reaches of Montana, over to Challis, and west of Challis, goes all the way down towards Soda Springs, Idaho, and then goes back up into Wyoming, into the Yellowstone, Montana area. Although magnitude estimates for the 1959 earthquake vary, the U.S. Geological Survey recorded the quake at both 7.3 and 7.5, now calculated by the ISC at 7.2 magnitude. The effects, the landslides caused by the quake carried 50 million cubic yards of rock, mud, and debris down into the valley and created hurricane force winds strong enough to toss cars. In Madison County, the landslide swept away a family of 7, 5 of whom perished. 2 more fatalities were also reported in nearby Cliff Lake to the south. In Rock Creek, tourists camping there were caught off guard by the quake and the landslide, which swept them into the creek. The landslide caused a seep, which inundated trailers and tents, uprooted trees, and injured more than 1 person. This is another area where a house literally slid into the lake, destruction from the earthquake. New geysers and cracks sprouted up in nearby Yellowstone National Park near Old Faithful. The earthquake damaged the Old Faithful Inn, forcing guests there to evacuate. Landslides caused by the quake blocked a road between Mammoth and Old Faithful. Now that's not Mammoth in California. They have a Mammoth area to the east of Old Faithful out there. It's a separate area. If you watch Mary Greeley, she reports quakes over in the Mammoth area. In this quake in 1959, it damaged a bridge inside the park. There was 1 reported injury where a woman broke her wrist. The earthquake also created fault scarps as high as 20 feet. Fault scarps are where the land, one part of the land drops on the side of the quake. Okay, it's a strike slip earthquake. The land drops 20 feet. Caused extensive damage to homes, roads, and buildings. In Belgrade, Montana, the earthquake damaged measuring equipment placed in a 100-foot, 30-meter water well. The quake also knocked out telephone communications between Bozeman and Yellowstone. And those were in the days of landline telephones. Nobody had cell phones in those days. And even then, landline phones were usually party lines, where if you picked up the phone, you could almost assuredly be talking with somebody else that was on that same party line. Buildings at Montana State University campus also sustained quake damage. In Butte, Montana, the quake caused a pendulum clock to stop at 12:42 a.m. and caused minor damage to homes. And anyway, this whole article goes on talking about damage from this particular earthquake. This earthquake was felt all over Yellowstone. If you listen to Mary Greeley's report last night and this morning, it caused some damage. Rocks slid all over the place. So far, no major damage was reported to homes and buildings. I am sure we're going to see some kind of damage reports as the day goes on today. Like I said, I have pictures. In fact, let me pull up pictures on my phone because I saved them to my phone here. Well, I showed you that the picture of some of the roadway. I thought I saved the picture of a huge boulder blocking the roadway here. Let me see if I've got that. No, I guess I don't, darn it. That's weird. That's really weird. I thought I had that picture. I'm sorry, folks. Oh, here it is. I've got it. I've got the picture. Okay. Look at that car-sized boulder that slid onto the roadway, slid down the mountain onto the roadway there in Idaho. So folks, you got to be careful. You have to be careful during these times. Now, in regards to the coronavirus, and I will be talking more about this in my broadcast later tonight, I want to tell you that it's not over by a long shot. It's not over by a long shot. The coronavirus cases right now are 927,968. I made a prediction yesterday that the cases would be up over 1 million by this weekend, by Friday, I believe, and it's very possible. So far, the death toll from the coronavirus is 46,488. The number of people that have recovered is a total of 193,431. Mild cases, 653,055. Serious critical, 34,994. The number of deaths, like we said, is 46,488 as of about an hour or so ago. The death toll in the United States is 4,713. 4,713 total deaths in the United States. That's an additional 660 over yesterday. Yesterday we had just over 4,000. Now it's 4,713 here in the United States, with a total cases of 211,143. New York has 83,712 new cases, up 7,729 new cases since yesterday. Total deaths in New York are 1,941. New Jersey, 355. California, 184. California cases rose by 200 since yesterday. Total cases in California is 8,704 cases, with 200 of them being new cases today. Total deaths in California, like I said, are 184, 4 more than yesterday. Florida, who has closed their borders to other adjacent states, Florida has 8,955 cases, 214 cases more than they had yesterday, with a total of 87 deaths, 2 more than yesterday. Utah, where I live, Utah has 1,012 cases. 1,012 cases, 125 more cases than they did yesterday. We had 988 cases yesterday, and now it's 1,012, over 125 new cases as of today. We've had 7 deaths now here in Utah, 2 more than yesterday, with the total active cases here in Utah of 1,005. So folks, that is what is going on here around the United States. Washington, let me see Washington here. I just want to advise you guys what is going on in Washington. Washington has 5,482 cases. They have 225 deaths. 225 deaths. They have not reported any additional cases or deaths apparently since yesterday. Those numbers are blank. Colorado has 2,966 cases, 89 deaths there, for a total of active cases in Colorado of 2,897. So that's the numbers right now as we have it throughout the United States and around the world. We wanted to bring you this information as we had it. I wanted to talk about the earthquake, since we were all jumbled up yesterday because of technical difficulties on the internet and such. We apologize for that. And I just want to tell you guys that we love you, we care about you, and we wanted to make sure that you had the latest information that we could find today. It's very important that you have that information. I want to thank you again for joining us here on the Emergency Management Associates show. We will be back at 6 p.m. Mountain Time this evening for another broadcast detailing everything that's happened during the day today. Until then, folks, we hope you have a great day, and we will see you a little bit later. For Emergency Management Associates, this is Ron Tyler. That's the way it is. Wednesday, April 1st, 2020. We'll see you soon. Folks, thank you for joining us on the Emergency Management Associates today. We will be back at 6 p.m. Thank you. Talk to you soon.